Hello, my fellow producers, and welcome back to Soul Horoscopes Weekly Edition. I'm your host to the universe, Christopher Witecki. I'm also the host of SoulGarden.me. There's no place like Soul Garden, one of the most loving spaces on the internet. Come on down, join us for office hours. Maybe you would like to join our cast. We are now casting at SoulGarden.me, and we're also trying to unite the light. Join our club, Unite the Light. You'll see it on the right side of the screen when you show up in the garden. Love to see you there. This is a powerful month, but also a quiet and very private month. That's because Earthlings are working on their emotional context. All of us as a species work on one part of us and share that, and then each sign works on a second private part. So the entire species is working on emotions. Tauruses are also at the same time working on intellect. And this week we're going to step into really the driver's seat, which is an emotional perspective. The master chapter of living on Earth is always emotionally based, and so we're all learning how to basically float in the emotional water and wing it, not allow our emotions to have a prejudiced context, not allow our emotions to respond in a prejudiced way. It's not easy being human. Now in chapter 1, we were working on removing emotional context that didn't serve us, and for Tauruses, because your intellect and your emotions work side by side, this means that you're also removing intellectual prejudices and attitude problems. In chapter 2, we started searching for the right attitude or the right emotional approach that we want to take, and that was all of last week. So last week was an emotional week for that reason. We were shopping for a new emotion. This week we're going to try one on. In fact, it is now time to step into the emotional barrel, so to speak, and begin floating. And that is the Master Shui, as I like to call it. We have our Master Shui class going on right now. So on Monday, it's about action. Mars rules the day. It's time to step into or step toward this new emotion, this new attitude that you decided upon over the weekend. What is your new emotion? Everything chill. What is your new attitude? It will all be okay. Those will work right there. And basically, you want to put it into action. So every time your mind or emotions want to go a different way than what you have proposed, you pick it up and you make it go the right way. That is, at the end of the day, how people change. They take action. Now, you might have a test of faith at the same time. The moon is crossing over Uranus during the course of the day, depending on where we live on Earth, but it's still, nonetheless, you will feel it. This means your emotions themselves are going to look to innovate, or your response to innovate. To give you some clarity how it works in the paths of astrology, we're working this month on your emotional laws, the laws of when your emotions do, when your emotions don't. Your intellectual laws, the laws of how your intellect works or how it doesn't work. The moon right now is where you're feeling today. So as you're thinking about emotional law, as you're thinking about you're processing emotional law and thoughts, your emotions themselves are having a test of faith. So there's a test of faith, which means you will have to step into a new emotional inner perspective on Monday, probably in order to have the strength to move forward in the outer world, if that makes sense. On Tuesday, it's time to hold space. Taurus technically rules the day. This is a manifestation day for the bulls. What you want to do is just take who you are and continue to act, all right? And hold that space. Take who you are, continue to act. One thing interesting is we do begin a multi-day opposition between the Mars in Libra and Uranus in Aries. So yesterday you feel a new emotional inner faith. Today you feel that faith that must continue, but you also feel that new faith kind of opposing Mars in Libra. So Mars in Libra says to Taurus, says, hey, get moving with that new lifestyle. Get moving with that diet. Get moving with the lifestyle of balance that you know you have to have. And Mars shows no patience. So you might be very impatient in the moment. What solves that? Well, innovating your inner faith, right? Get too lost in faith. Well, we'll help you. Go do some work in the moment. This tug-of-war will be going on for the next 10 days. Then on Wednesday, we're holding emotional space. So this is the day we kind of get in the boat of emotional Master Shui. So emotions are kind of ruling the day, and the universe has blessed us with a temporary yod. Now, a yod is the finger of God. It has to do with an isosceles triangle that points. Right now, the trigger planet is the moon, which is still in Aries, and Neptune in Pisces, all yachting over to Mars. So what the universe is basically saying is, hey Taurus, here is the play for the day on Wednesday. And for those in GA, we'll text it to you again as a reminder. The play for the day is, you have an intuitive sense about where you belong in society. You have a feeling of inner faith. Take those two and get your astro moving in the moment. Okay? You can rewind this if you need to know. So on Wednesday, emotions in Aries, still looking for inner faith, and at the same time, the universe calling for you to take action in the moment and this is you holding emotional, intellectual space of your attitude. On Thursday, things perk up. The moon moves into Taurus, so it's sunny and cool. Jupiter rules the day, so it's time to have fun and explore. Now that we're in our new temporary beta emotional context, you want to explore with that context. Now this month you might be working on these issues everywhere, at work, with your wife, with your kids, with your neighbor, these emotional, intellectual contexts. Whoever triggers you is the lesson, is the classroom. So it is irrelevant who it is. It's irrelevant how it's going on, really, for the lesson of the month, which is how you emotionally, intellectually respond and interact with reality. Well, on Thursday, whatever the case is, try something new. Try something new, step outside of your normal emotional response. If it never works to make a joke with Judy, don't make a joke with Judy. You know, even I want to make a joke with Judy right now. I want to joke about her all day, but we can't do that. The other thing I want to point out is the opposition of the sun, the square of the sun and Saturn now beginning for the next few days. This square is basically fear resolution that the universe is forcing you to get rid of. And this is going to tighten and tighten and tighten and tighten, all right, over the next 10 days. The resolution is between what has to be done in the moment to take and manifest your reality, and the pressure is your emotional, intellectual response or direction. So for me, as a Taurus, I've been saying, everything in the world is already triggering me. Every little thing going wrong is just throwing all my hands up in the air. The work is not in preventing those things from going wrong. The work is how we emotionally or intellectually respond to those things going wrong. And any fears you have, like it never works out, well, that's a stupid fear, it has to be resolved. Those types of fears begin resolution. So the universe is really cranking pressure on us. And if you notice, a lot of the pressure is Mars and Saturn in Libra. Then comes Friday. Friday is actually kind of a breakdown, breakthrough day. It can go either way. It's a partly cloudy day for everyone. The moon is still in Taurus, so during this final breakdown, which leads to your final emotional breakthrough, you're going to feel pretty strong because emotions and charisma are working side by side. However, we do have some breakdowns, and so some emotional attitude or some intellectual attitude that you were using will probably stop working, not work. Maybe the direction you got into the emotional boat was the wrong emotional boat to get into, so to speak. Whatever the case is, it might break down, but don't have any problems because breakthrough is right around the corner, especially if you give yourself the freedom to explore. What you're looking for is something that feels emotionally good within you, and then a place in the world where you also can still feel good in that place. So you're looking for a match, inner emotion and outer emotion. Anything not in match on Friday breaks down. Then on the weekend, it's actually a pretty nice weekend, kind of a summer weekend again. On Saturday, we have Mercury ruling the day, so this is probably the breakthrough day where you get it. Aha, I understand. I know what I should have said. I know what I should have done. I know my emotions went down this path. I'm not going to let them go down that path anymore. So hopefully we have learned and we are clear. The moon is in Taurus for half the day and then moves into Gemini. Those watched over by the Guardian Agency, I'll text you as soon as it shifts into Gemini. At that point, your emotions shift to productivity and manifestation, where they stay for the rest of the weekend. So you are feeling valuable as you break through and understand where emotions and intellect need to be with message on Saturday. Then Sunday is Love Fest Day. That's because the moon in Gemini is going to cross over Venus. We always say on Love Fest Day, tell everyone you love that you love them. Come on down to soulgarden.me if you need a little love. We have got all our bloggers talking about what they love and their signs. But this is a day of receiving. Now for you, this is receiving a sense of value. This might be receiving a paycheck on Love Fest Day, because as the moon crosses over Venus, you're emotionally, hopefully, allowing yourself to receive in ways you haven't before. And it's quite possible that the reason why you can receive now and why you couldn't receive earlier was because your own emotional prejudices or your own intellectual prejudices were in fact blocking the door. So think about that one, O Kimosabi Taurus. All right, that's all I have for your 7-day forecast, but I will see you in 7 more. Until then, Bull, live, love, be.